Today's conversation, I want to start it with this. What do you remember about June of 2014? Really think of June of 2014. How did that month change you? How did it change you? You remember it? Of course you remember it. June of 2014. Now, for some of you, something significant may have happened in June of 2014. But most likely, for most of you, you won't remember a thing. For most of us, it's like any other month that came and went. We might in general remember going to a lake, taking a camping trip, a couple of activities. But most of us, as far as our lifetimes, won't remember what we were doing. It would be pretty uneventful. There's nothing really going on except that we were alive, right? We were living. And if June of 2014 was a significant event month, pick another month. Another month that you can't really think of what happened. It doesn't register. It's not on the timeline of your life. Take a current moment in time, and this is part of the human condition, and we shift from living to longing. We take a current moment in time, a present moment, and instead of living that moment, we begin longing. And I challenge you to consider today that living and longing can't occupy the same space. Remember that longing is not greatly passionate, but it's a melancholic desire. A desire laced with melancholy. In that state of consciousness that is longing, we're often longing for something, right? It's kind of embedded in the word longing, that we're looking for something that doesn't exist in this time and space. So it's either in the future, it's in the past, or it's in our imagination. But we're not really living. We're not truly living our lives in the present moment. So have you asked yourselves, what conditions have to be in place for you to be living your life? What conditions need to be operational for you to consider it truly living? For some people, if their work life is in order, they think they're living. But if it's not, it's considered different from life. For some people, if they're in a relationship, they feel like I'm living my life. And when they're not in a relationship, they don't feel like they are. They feel like they're just passing time, or they're just waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to change. So have we looked into our minds? And is there a part of our minds, our consciousness, our awareness, that is just waiting in this moment, in this now moment that we are experiencing? Is there part of your mind that is waiting for something to change, or waiting for something to happen in order to be or to feel like you are truly living? The ego will always place conditions on living. The ego will always say, I'll start living when conditions are right. But presence says that that's edging God out. Presence says that even this moment, no matter what it is whole. Even this moment is whole. Even in this moment, there is fullness. Even in this moment, there is completion. There is a wholeness to be discovered. But the temptation of the separate self is to think, no, that's not life. But really look at our lives and really look at your life. Think about all of the times when you thought something was happening, that it was an aberration of life or an abnormality, or something was really wrong in life, and you weren't really living. It wasn't considered your life. and now just look back at your history, I think we can notice that what really forms our lives, what really forms our memories, are not the Junes of 2014. They are the times that we had highs and lows. They are the times that we were acutely aware of life. And often, they were the times that we didn't consider we were living our lives. We thought that there was something wrong, and we fell into the temptation to think that life has stopped somehow. Have you been living this present moment in any way along that line, like life has stopped? Like this time in this present moment for you is an aberration of life, somehow not life itself. Friends, this is the continual temptation of the ego. This is the continual temptation of the separate self. Teaches us to approach life in a different way. Mindfulness reminds us that when we think we're not living life, that this is it. This is it. Every moment. Eckhart Tolle says, when you wash your hands, when you make a cup of coffee, when you're waiting for the elevator, instead of indulging in thinking, these are all opportunities for being there as still, alert presence. These are all opportunities. So how much time do we spend waiting? I'll give you an insight into late people, and I don't know how many late people this resonates with, but one of the things about being a late person, we won't affirm that, but in my family we call it being McCabed. So it's kind of a chronic condition. But part of that condition is that you don't like waiting. So you don't want to get somewhere 10 minutes early or 20 minutes early, because what can you do with that time? That could be wasted time. That's time waiting. And what does that do? That makes you late. That makes you disrespect someone else's time frame. That makes you have anxiety or whatever it is, that however it makes you feel, it actually takes you out of the present moment. When every moment, if you look at it with mindfulness and with presence, every moment is ripe with potential. Every minute is ripe with possibilities. Every moment has something to do, not to do, but to be, right? To be in. There is no moment in mind or in physical reality that cannot be seized, right? But instead of seizing the day, instead of Carpe Diem, we go Mayday, 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 Mayday. And we try to get rescued from present moments that are uncomfortable. We try to hook ourselves in and like tie ourselves up in chains to the ones that are delightful and great. And make no mistake, they're chains. Even with the good ones. If we're staying in them and we refuse to leave them, then we're in chains because we're holding back all of the new ones that are on their way to us. But with the difficult ones, with the suffering, with the challenges, with the ones that don't meet our expectations or don't align with the conditions that we think need to be in place in order to live life fully, we're saying, Mayday, Mayday, rescue me from this. Rather than Carpe Diem, to seize that urge to make the most of the present moment, to make the most of the time with little thought for the future. It is part of the human condition to act like life is a problem. But all of what is life. The whole spectrum of my life is my life. And how I show up to it is my consciousness and how I'm living it. A lot of people, when they're going through a divorce or a health challenge, whatever it is, a stage of life and experience, they think that life has stopped, rather than recognizing that they're actually still living life, that this is it, that these moments are actually going to be the soil, the fertilizer from which the next moments grow, and they are just as much a part of your life. And in fact, in the memory books, a lot of times, They supersede the Junes of 2014, the Julys of 2001. And we remember them because they change us. But when we resist the present moment, when we resist really what life is, and we instead dive into longing, we dive into our Mayday, Mayday calls, we activate different patterns in the brain. We activate fear, we activate separation, we activate victim mentality, we activate longing, we activate future thinking or past ruminating. You know, fear shuts down new thinking patterns in the brain. And victim mentality searches. All it does is it searches history, it searches existing databases of experience to build evidence for a story. And then it magnetizes that story so that it starts seeking future stories to add to it and to build up. Those things don't allow us to live into the future. They don't generate innovative responses. They don't create new possibilities. But mindfulness expands possibilities. Mindfulness expands creative awareness and thinking. Mindfulness expands wellness. So every time that we are tempted to think about the now moment, whatever it is, as an aberration of life, can we affirm to ourselves, this is it. This is life living itself through me. How can I experience its wholeness? The author Gary Ryan Blair said, you cannot afford to wait for perfect conditions. Opportunities are easily lost while waiting for perfect conditions. So will we take some time to look at our approach to the now moment, to our experience of our current conditions, whatever they may be, and look at it like it's a magnifying dish or a petri dish on how we do life. The author Anne Bracheras says, maybe you think you'll be entitled to more happiness later by foregoing all of it now. But it doesn't work that way. Happiness takes as much practice as unhappiness does. It's by living that you live more. By waiting, you wait more. Every waiting day makes your life a little less. Every lonely day makes you a little smaller. Every day you put off your life makes you a little less capable of living it. Friends, look at the example of having a child in life and how culture often does raising children, and even pregnancy. A lot of times pregnancy is treated as a problem. It's treated as a problem before it even happens. Getting pregnant it's like a waiting game just to get pregnant, right? It's like something's got to happen. And for some people it's like something has to happen in order for me to be complete. And then that pregnancy can be treated like a problem, like, oh, wait till I get done with this pregnancy because the morning sickness or this or that, or, oh, it's, hard, whatever it is. And then the birth can be treated like a problem. And then, when the baby's little, like managing work and managing a baby, and how is this going to work? But, when the baby gets a little bit older, then I'm going to enjoy it. Then it's going to be, right now is going to be more than enough. After I get pregnant, after the baby's here, after the baby's not a baby anymore, when the baby's a toddler, then I'll have a little more space. Then I can do all these things. Then life will start in a certain way, right? Oh, but wait, no, the terrible twos or baby gates all over. Once I can get through the terrible twos or the baby gates are down, then it'll work. Once they go to school, they're in school all the time, so we can't do anything. Once they're on summer vacation, then we can have fun together. Then we can start feeling like they're living. Oh, it's so intense having them home all the time. So when they get back to school, that's when I'll feel like I can actually live my life and I can start doing things. When the kids are back in school, you know what? When they're in the next grade and they're more capable and they can do activities on their own. Oh, the cat in the cradle. When they come back, oh wait, they're going away, but I want them back. When they start wanting to come back again, that's when That's when we'll start living. That's when it'll feel good. That's when it'll feel like a family. Oh, wait, they're in adolescence. When that's over, it's going to be good. Oh, after adolescence, when they get through college or when they get through their job search, when they get a home, wait, I'm waiting until they're okay, until they have a home and they've started a family, and then I can relax. And I can enjoy this thing called life with the rest of the life that's around me. And then what happens? And then we become who we are in the moment, and then we're looking at jobs, and does the job fit, and is it my passion? And once I'm living my passion, I can be living my life and feel happy. And once I'm in a relationship, then I'll start living. Then I'll have this vision and this dream, and it will be my life, and I'll start feeling it, and I'll start really feeling like I'm alive. But then what happens? Then there's some illness that comes up, or some financial stress, or some health, condition of a parent and taking care of a parent, whatever it is, you fill in the blank. And then we're getting to be elders, and those have their own challenges. And I can't do the things that I used to be able to do when I could. Then maybe instead of starting to say then, you start saying when I could do this, then I was living. When I could do that, then I was living. When I used to be able to just hop in the car and ... When this person was here, when that person was here. When and then and when and then. And I fear that sometimes we when and then ourselves all the way from birth to death, and we forget about life. Life is everything. Life is everywhere. It's in this moment, no matter what it looks like. And rather than waiting upon God, rather than waiting upon the grand overall design, rather than waiting upon the fullness of love and divine mind, which God is in and through it as all of us, let us not wait on God going, Mayday, Mayday. Let us seize the moment and say, Carpe Diem. I will bring the Godness to this moment. I will bring the love. I will squeeze it out. I will love the moments. I will breathe so deeply into this now moment. I will apply passionate desire while living in the present moment rather than melancholy and longing. A passionate desire is what activates God consciousness. It is what expands vision. It is how we stand in the midst of a moment with seeming imperfection, but we call forth the wholeness. And we don't just call it forth, we become the way of it. We have ourselves living each moment into expression. I want to share with you part of a reading that came to me this week. It's from Shauna Nyquist from Cold Tangerines, celebrating the extraordinary nature of everyday life. And I'm just going to read part of this. But it says, believe that this way of living, this focus on the present, the daily, the tangible, this intense concentration, not on the news headlines, but on the flowers growing in your own garden, the children growing in your own home. This way of living has the potential to open up the heavens, to yield a glittering handful of diamonds where seconds ago there was coal. This way of living and noticing and building and crafting can crack through the movie sets and soundtracks that keep us waiting for our own life stories to begin, and set us free to observe the lives we have been creating all along without ever realizing it. She said, I don't want to wait anymore. I choose to believe that there is nothing more sacred or profound than this day. I choose to believe that there may be 1,000 big moments embedded in this day, waiting to be discovered like tiny shards of gold. The big moments are the daily tiny moments of courage and forgiveness and hope that we grab onto and extend to one another. That's the drama of life swirling all around us. And generally, I don't even see it because I'm too busy waiting to become whatever it is I think I'm about to become. The big moments are in every hour, every conversation, every meal, every meeting. She goes on to say, today is your big moment. Moments, really. The life you've been waiting for is happening all around you. The scene unfolding right outside your window is worth more than the most beautiful painting, and the crackers and peanut butter that you're having for lunch on the coffee table are as profound in their own way as the Last Supper. This is it. This is life in all its glory, swirling and unfolding around us, disguised as pedantic pedestrian non-events. But pull off the mask, and you will find your life waiting to be made, chosen, woven, crafted. This is it, friends. This is life. This is it. So if you can't see it, find it. And if you can't find it, create it. Namaste.